With Arsenal's pre-season tour finally being fully underway, there has already been 2 great games against Bournemouth and Manchester United. And with a lot of different youngsters and new players catching the eye, the most encouraging player so far is that of Nwaneri, who yet again is proving to people why he is such a star. In this video, we're going to break down why he could be such an important role for Arsenal this season and why he is the future of the club. So let's get into it. Now, given the overall criticism of Arteta about not using the youngsters and the recent sale of Emile Smith-Rowe, which looks like is now going to go through, definitely think Arsenal needed some of their youngsters to step up in this tour to give us a little bit more confidence in that department. Now, while I think there's also been players that have proven very well, such as Hein the goalkeeper and Lewis Skelly, I think we were almost all expecting Nwaneri to really prove his worth because we know the quality and the amount of trust the club have in him. However, against Bournemouth and against Manchester United, this guy has played 128 minutes overall, and I think he has looked electric and one of our best players. And in a position in the team such as left centre mid that he could realistically get into, I think it's time we analyse how he can make this role his own, and even with signings could get significant minutes in that position this season. Now, first of all, the positions that he has played in have definitely been down the left hand side. Now, against Manchester United and Bournemouth, played against left wing at the start of the Bournemouth game and then played in a bit of a left centre mid role for the United game as well. Now, I wouldn't say he's necessarily sticking to that position at all times. He is happily and freedom to come down the right side and bring the ball forward, and you can definitely tell he is a predominantly left-footed player, but I think he can use his right foot to definitely a better level in the future. Now, first of all, I think the most interesting thing about this was that even though on a team sheet he looked like he was in that left wing position against Bournemouth, he definitely did not play there. He was coming into the centre nearly all the time and trying to be close to Odegaard when Odegaard came on and any of the midfielders that we had. Now, this meant that there's sometimes a lot of players in the middle, but this also gave Arsenal a lot more ability to stretch the pitch. Lewis Skelly was going up and being that fullback pushed up further up the pitch, and when players like Zinchenko came on, that gave us a little bit more control where he could come into the middle and be a bit of a dual 8 with Odegaard. Now, first of all, you can see that this guy clearly has a lot of confidence, and I definitely think he's a dribble ball progressor first rather than being a passer first, which is something I think Arsenal are missing quite a lot in that midfield. There was many times in that Bournemouth game especially where he'd pick the ball up in any sort of spot and his first idea is to just run at defenders. There was a moment just 5 minutes in where he ran literally all the way around the defenders on the right side, and he had the ability to make the right decision at the moment when it mattered, putting a lovely through ball into Nketiah. But this happens a lot in the game. I think sometimes with him he's not necessarily a quick one-touch passer. I guess he could probably do that, but when he picks up the ball he likes to feel around his opponents, bring people closer to him and be able to shift the ball out wide. This ability is brilliant and I loved his running in these games. I think it's such a nice talent to have someone that can run past players like that, because Odegaard can, but it's not necessarily his primary weapon that he uses. His is definitely down to his passing. I also like there was many moments in that Bournemouth game where he'd do a little pass into someone like Partey and he'd do a little 1-2 and continue running, and this is something I've said that I liked what Rice did last season. I think it really got Arsenal up the pitch, and having someone that would just take the ball and be a progressive runner like that is always going to be useful, and I think Arsenal are kind of looking for players that can do that role to a decent amount of level on the transfer market right now. And even though sometimes he was playing in that wing position, even when he was playing in midfield and he tucked in, which is what he did anyway, I just love how he's always looking for the person who's either the wing back or the winger on that left side. This is obviously something Arsenal have struggled with, getting the progression to the wingers because we mostly go down the right. But having an attacking player who's creative and creates a lot of chances that is predominantly left-footed and looks to that left side actually makes it way better. There were so many times where he's coming in the middle and he's just shifting the ball out wide. That obviously is brilliant because it gives us space, but it gives us 1v1s. If you keep giving them chances to players like Martinelli, he will love it and he will constantly have a better season, especially with the due diligence of someone like Nwaneri making sure them chances happen with his brilliant dribbling in midfield, drawing players towards him. And the fact that he is really trying to prove himself in these games, I think shows a lot. In that Bournemouth game, I just look at his stats and I just see so much encouragement there. 6 passes into the final third, 2 chances created. He did 2 out of 3 successful dribbles and 2 out of 4 accurate long balls. He's just trying to do a lot of different things, and a lot of it is coming off, some of it isn't, but that's expected. And ultimately, he's creating a lot for the team. He's getting in correct positions. He's making sure that we can get the ball out on either side, making the team so much more balanced. And I think just just at the age of 17, the fact he is so intelligent on the ball really surprises me. One of the key things that players at this age is that they have the talent but don't make the right decisions, and of course he's not going to make the right decision all the time, no player ever does. But there was so much encouragement I've seen in these games where he does make the right decision. He even knows when to take players on, when he needs to get people like Odegaard in to help him, or when he needs to shift the ball out wide and get Arsenal into a little bit more pressure. Now when we get closer towards the goal, he obviously is going to have shots where he likes, which is fair enough. I don't want that to go out of him because you never want to make a player nervous. You want them to be encouraged to do these things. And against United, he showed a different part of his game which I really enjoyed. He had very much good defensive work. Obviously United were pressing quite high, especially early on, and he knows when to go back, when to make little passes and when to make movement. Now there's a few times where you could really see that him and Odegaard are starting to get that real good connection. Obviously Odegaard still has to dictate and tell him where to go sometimes, but there was a few moments where Odegaard would do little passes inside to people like Jesus who came deeper, and Nwaneri would know where to be and quickly shift the ball out wide. And in his head he's always trying to either run at defenders or shift the ball out wide, which I genuinely just think is a positive thing for Arsenal. And the areas that he was picking up were just so mature, so knowledgeable of a player that is just his age. He's down the right side, he continues to make runs even if a pass doesn't necessarily come off, getting into great positions, which caused a good save by Onana early on. And there's times where he'd be deeper in midfield, keeping the ball, being very good under pressure, and there's times where he'd be down the left side. I mean, that is where he got his assist. He may or may not have been offside, but ultimately it's still very quick thinking by him, and it's a brilliant cross-ball effort straight to Jesus who can't miss. And against a good opposition, he got one chance created in this game and two passes into the final third. Now, not amazing things, but it's a very good level for someone that only played 45 minutes in this game against a very much a bigger team he's ever played before. And I think by what I've seen in these friendlies, I can see a place where he definitely gets some minutes this season, because he does exactly what Arteta likes. Not necessarily just about the creative things, but it's also the other parts of the game. He is very much fighting in duels all the time. He goes anywhere on the pitch and is never afraid to go against anyone, even if they're much bigger and stronger than him. In the Man United game, he didn't lose a duel and won all 4 he contested. And against Bournemouth, he won 7 and lost 6. But he's getting into so many. He's not necessarily an aerial person because he's not the tallest, but on the floor, he will fight for every ball and he'll try and get past anyone he can when he feels like it's the best thing to do. And with the intelligence that this player has, I think that's really important. Now, overall, I expect Arsenal to still go out and buy left centre mid. It might be Marino, which looks quite likely at this point, but we also could get someone like Fabian Ruiz, who I think would be a great option, until we really invest probably in the midfield when there's better options and better available deals to be done next summer. However, I do think Nwaneri is also a reason for that. I think he's a reason why Smith Rowe is leaving, because I think he has been so impressive, not just in these pre-season, but I think in training before. Obviously Arteta has identified him, and him getting his first ever game at the age of 15 shows his intelligence and brilliance that they really rate him. I think in a world he can work with Odegaard, and I think what I've seen is very much encouraging, and I believe that he should definitely get minutes in that left centre mid spot next season. We gave Vieira minutes there last year, and even if there's any sort of injury, even if there's not, I think Nwaneri has done enough to at least play some cup games, or at least come on and try and prove himself in some Premier League games, because I don't think we're going to see a 17-year-old be this good for a very long time. And I am very excited about this player, when I'm not usually too excited about all youngsters, because I don't think at Arsenal they're always going to make it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think he will make it? Do you think he'll get some considerable game time this season? And what would you do with him overall? Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.